listening to We Watch Movies.
I'm Ava.
And I'm Jenna.
And we watch movies. So this week we watched Fatherhood, which came out on Netflix on, I think it was the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. It stars Kevin Hart, Anthony Carrigan, and a bunch of people. So, well, not a bunch of people I know. Just like, I think those are the only two I recognize. But anyways, it's about Kevin Hart, he plays Matt Loughlin, and he is a new father, and his wife died like the day that her daughter was born. So he has to raise this child on his own, and he's like trying to figure it out. And yeah. Anyways, Jenna, what was your initial reaction?
I didn't mind this movie. It was nice. There were parts that I liked, there were parts that I didn't. I went back and forth a lot on how much I liked this movie, because sometimes I'd be like, oh, this is nice, and then the next scene would happen and I'd be like, I don't really like this anymore.
Yeah, like there were some times that were boring and sometimes that were like really good. I do have to say, I haven't seen a lot of Kevin Hart's work in the past. I've really only seen the Jumanji movies. And I don't know, I was kind of surprised. I thought that that's mean. He's a better actor than I thought he was. Because because he mostly does like comedy stuff, right?
Yeah, I think he is like a comedian, and I hadn't really seen him in any like a more serious role, so it's just I didn't see his range.
Yeah, I was like, because I recently saw a movie where they casted a comedian in a more serious role, and it was just really uncomfortable. It wasn't the best.
What movie?
Unfortunately. That was Spiral.
Oh.
He was just, I mean, no hate, but it was just like awkward. It was really weird. But anyways, I was expecting something along those lines to happen. But no, I think there was some pretty good range there, and I was really surprised, pleasantly, which was great. Yeah, I think there was a lot of charisma in this cast, with, the main two characters, which were Matt and then his daughter Maddie. Matt and Maddie. I think that the girl, she was really cute. She annoyed me sometimes, but that's what happens with most children.
There are children.
Yeah. But anyways, I did enjoy this movie. It's not like my favorite thing in the world, but I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing like so like erroneous about it that I was like, I hate everything about this experience. I regret this totally. But it's also not a movie like I feel the need to revisit in any capacity, because it was fine.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm pretty solidly agreeing with, I think, the Rotten Tomatoes, because they gave it a 67,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty fair, because I probably wouldn't go higher than a 70-something, but, like, I wouldn't want to go any lower than a 67, because it was good, it was watchable. Sometimes the characters were annoying, not necessarily Matt, but, like, Maddie was annoying sometimes, but mostly my main annoyances, my main peeves came from Marion, his mother-in-law. Oh my god, there were so many times I wanted to slap her. She had like no shame, really. Like, I was so mad. Like, how dare she suggest that she just takes the kid immediately? Like, she has no faith in Matt. She's like, oh, either you're gonna uproot your entire life and come live in Minnesota, or I'm just gonna take your child away from you. She has no right to say that.
No, and like the fact that she was like also adding to like the I don't think you could take care of this child thing, like he's her father. Like you like so like because I know they always brought up the whole thing like he's barely prepared, he like didn't set up he hasn't even set up the crib yet. Like the baby was also like 2 weeks early, by the way. So just
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like they always brought up these things and it's like, but you're not giving him a chance, you're just adding to his doubt that he can actually do this, which isn't helping anything.
Yeah, like everybody just kept pushing this idea on him that he was gonna fail, and he was pretty confident in his abilities at the beginning, and then that just got worse, and then it got better once everybody stopped telling him that he was gonna fail. And it was just so annoying. I was like, geez, this guy right now, he may be struggling, but also he's grieving and he's trying to do something that would be difficult for literally anybody on the face of the planet. And I think there's just such a like a double standard there, which they did like kind of highlight the double standard when it comes to new parenting in this movie, which I liked, because I do like it when movies like show, you know, fathers that aren't deadbeats and are actually capable, which this movie definitely did. Because I mean, even if say it were the other way around and Matt died and Liz was the one who lived, I feel like she would struggle just as much raising the child by herself, except for maybe the fact that she wouldn't need to use a bottle, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And there were a lot of different moments where they kind of brought that up, and the one that I liked was like the new parent meeting where he goes, because like he's a new parent and he's kind of doing it alone, so he doesn't know anything. And at first the group was like, this is for new mothers, and he's like, no, look at the sign. But then they do start helping him eventually, and I was like, I liked how they did eventually start helping him, because like don't be mean to other new parents, no one knows what they're doing, gotta help each other out. And it's just the idea that like mothers are the ones taking care of the kids is clearly flawed. So I enjoyed how this movie kind of looked at fatherhood in a good way, and like in a positive way that wasn't like, oh look, this dad is really bad at being a dad and like that's a problem. It was like, no, he's learning and he's struggling, but he still loves his daughter and he just wants to do the best that he can.
Challenge gender roles, guys. Woot woot. Yeah, no, but that was definitely a good theme that they had. And it does bother me a lot when people are like, oh my gosh, dads can't do it, blah, blah, blah. But like clearly he can, because what she was like, got to be at least like 5 by the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, she was like in what? Well, she was in school by the end of the movie. So was that like kindergarten or first grade?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really pay attention to anybody like lower than sophomore year right now.
That's fair. So she was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, ish. I did notice a lot of this movie kind of reminded me of, I don't know, have you seen the movie The Game Plan with The Rock? It was a Disney Channel movie in 2007.
I don't think so. What was the plot of that movie?
Okay, so this girl named Peyton, she goes and she finds her dad, which is Joe Kingman, who is like this football guy, and she goes up to his door and she's like, hi, you're my dad. And then he's like, and then he has to like take care of her for a little bit, and like, and he's kind of a sucky dad, but he's like learning, and then he kind of gets the hang of it. I don't know, it's kind of similar to to some of the things that happened in this movie. I haven't seen that movie in a million years, though. I forgot it even existed. It's just one of those movies that just, like, I remember random things about it, but don't remember it was actually a movie. Until, like, today, when I watched Fatherhood. I was like, oh yeah, this kind of reminds me of that movie. But this one was better, I think.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this movie felt very reminiscent of other things, but I couldn't tell you what those other things are.
Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty universal story. I mean, like, a lot of people are gonna be parents eventually, and a lot of people are single parents, and they're forced into that, maybe in circumstances that they are not excited for, and they feel underprepared, and it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's a good like reminder, like, hey, here's this, like, example of a story where this guy did it successfully, you know?
And I think it might have even said that it was based off of a true story. I don't know if that's true. I have to look at that again. But for some reason, I thought I read that somewhere.
Oh my gosh. If it is, that'd be really cute. Oh, Fatherhood True Story, what inspired the Netflix movie. Interesting. I do wonder what caused the what was it, a pulmonary embolism with Liz. Was that like a part, did the hospital do something wrong? Was it a complication with the C-section or the medication or something? Because they didn't really explain that very much.
It might have just been like a complication from like the pregnancy and like the C-section, that the hospital just either missed any warning signs or it just happened. I mean, I don't know. I don't do medicine. I don't know medical things. But I mean, pregnancy, like, can have a lot of risks. So, I don't know. Something went wrong.
Yeah, there were just like a couple of like questions that ended up just like dangling in the air. Like, I did wonder when he just kind of like left his friend to go to Croatia by himself. I wonder if he was like, if they were trying to say that he was gonna quit his job or not take the promotion or something, or if he was just like opting out of that one trip or something. But I feel like he would get in a lot of trouble if he just opted out of the trip. So I don't know if that was implying something, if I'm just slow, or if it was like, if it's just supposed to be ambiguous. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know, because I came up with like a bunch of different ideas and I was like, I mean, I guess these could all work, but just something like that felt a little unsatisfying, that we don't know what happened, because it ultimately doesn't really matter in some capacity. Like, sure, like, does it matter if he loses his job or keeps it, or if he gets like the really big promotion with the big salary or not? But at the same time, like, I don't want to be left thinking about what happened to his job. I want to be left thinking about like the father and the daughter. So it's kind of annoying that, like, that was the big thing that I left the movie with my mind on, not the actual emotional core of the story.
Yeah, because also they kind of made it a big deal. Like, they were like, oh, he needs to juggle his kid and his work, which is difficult for him because he was supposed to have his wife there to take care of the kid while he was at work. And now he doesn't have that. So it was kind of a big deal, I think, but they didn't follow up on it. Like, they kept building up, oh, is his work gonna take priority? Is he finally gonna make his kid a priority? Which he ended up doing, but they didn't say how far that priority like extended, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And just another thing with the work stuff, I couldn't tell if it was like realistic that like it would work out like that for him. Because I was watching, I was like, is this a thing that like actually happens for people in workplaces when they have kids? Like, I mean, I know nothing about like having a desk job or something like that, but still, I was just watching it and I was like, is this realistic? I couldn't tell.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't think that like any office job will let you just take a infant to work. You know, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, because that's what I thought, and I was like, has I mean, I don't know, has the job market improved for people with new kids? I was like, I don't think this would really happen, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess his boss liked him, and I mean, it might happen like rarely, but like that kind of bothered me because it felt like just so absurd that it could actually work out like that. That it kind of felt like a cheat. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna work our way around this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know how I really felt about that like part in the story. I mean, I suspended my disbelief for that sort of part of the story, you know. But it was kind of weird. And there were other parts like where just like the work and the kid collided, cuz there was that part where he was on a business Zoom call and she was just like being so obnoxious. Oh my god, I would have pushed her out of the room. I would have kicked her out of the room, and then I would have locked the door and continued my meeting. Cause like seriously, no, child,
Dang.
you may not.
Intense worker.
He like kept his cool. He was like so patient, and like. I was like, wow, he's just putting up with it. He's not yelling. I would have gotten so mad. I would have been so mad. But also, like, I don't know what it's like when it's like your kid. If it's somebody else's kid, I get annoyed pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it changes when it's like your actual kid and it's not just some hypothetical child that you're dealing with. But still, like, I don't know. I feel like Kevin Hart's character just got incredibly lucky with the way that his cards went out in this movie, where I was like, I am suspending my disbelief, even though this is a contemporary story about fatherhood that's also trying to be fairly realistic to the struggle. So it just felt like a little insincere, like, yes, we are painting the struggle, but at the same time, here are some things that our character is doing that wouldn't necessarily work out in the real world for most everyone.
I do, I don't know how, like, uniform schools work. I feel like, I don't know, do you think that they would have been more, like, if this was, like, happening, like, this moment, do you think the school would have been more lenient to allow girls to wear the pants, or do you think it's, like, an actual thing that they're like, no?
I mean, I guess it would depend on the school, and I think it was, like, was it, like, a Catholic school? It had nuns.
Yeah, it was.
So, like, I don't know if they would be more strict than just, like, maybe a non-religious public school. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like some schools would be even more strict about it. Like, I guess it depends on, like, how, like, what's the word I want? Like, for lack of a better word, like, rich? Prestigious, that's the word I want. How, like, prestigious the school is. But even then, like, they're little kids. Like, why? Why are you this strict about your dress code?
Personally, if I were running a modest school, yeah, I don't know, if I were running a modest school and there was a playground, there was little children, there were boys involved, I would rather the girls to be in pants, you know? Because, like, I don't know, do boys even still look up girls' skirts? Is that still a thing? I know that was a thing in, like, the 80s or
Well, I feel like a lot less girls wear skirts. Like, just thinking about, like,
yeah,
in our school, like, I wear skirts sometimes. Rarely. But they're also, like, really long skirts. But, like, I'm in the minority there if I wear a skirt. Like, most people just wear pants.
Yeah. Yeah. Pants are just easier.
I know.
But I don't know. I also, the whole, like, boys' underwear thing, I get her wearing, like, boys' clothes and stuff. Like, maybe she's a tomboy or whatever, I don't really care. But boys' underwear fit completely differently. Like, completely differently. Like, you can't, I don't think you can just go and wear, I mean, you could, but I feel like it wouldn't be as comfortable. Like, you could just get her, like, a solid color, and they don't need to have, like, flowers on it if she doesn't want something super curly. But, like, because then that was the whole thing. The guys looked up her skirt, and they were like, hey, she's wearing boys' underwear. And then she, like, fell on them, or whatever. But I don't know, I feel like that part was weird. That was a little bit much for me when they were trying to be like, oh, she's not like other girls. That was a bit much. I feel like even the tomboyest of tomboys are gonna wear the right shaped underwear.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I didn't fully, like, get where they were, like, trying to go with that, other than, like, oh no, she was bullied. But I don't know. I feel like they were trying to amount to something, but then where it ultimately ended up going was not good enough, or just wasn't thought through. And just at the same time, like, if you have a dress code, I can understand if a student doesn't wear, like, a part of the uniform that you provide them. Like, a student shows up wearing, like, a shirt that isn't part of the uniform. Like, I get being like, we have a uniform, we have a dress code, and you're violating it. But if a student is wearing, instead of, like, the school skirt, they're wearing, like, the school pants, I don't see how that's necessarily an issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, since it is a true story, maybe that's what happened. But if there's, like, any dramatization about what specifically happened, and it's all like, oh, she wanted to wear boys' underwear or something, I don't know. It just felt really forced. So if it's real, I mean, that's fine. If it was, like, fake and written in to add more drama or something, that's kind of, like, where I'm like, it just, like, doesn't work, you know? Because, like, I felt like the bullying storyline was kind of rough. Unless it was real and kids were actually that weird about everything, then, like, I don't know, kids are kids. And that's fine. Can't hold it against the true events of the story. But if that's not the true events of the story and they added that, then I'm like, why? Why? I mean, I get that you needed drama, but, like, I feel like there are other things to bully somebody about. I feel like, I don't know. There's some other way that they could have bullied her, but whatever.
Taken out of context, that's, like, a horrible sentence. But even then, like, even if it was real, the way that they put it into the story didn't feel right either. So even if you were keeping it in there to, like, keep the integrity of the story you're telling intact, just, it felt very disconnected from everything else, and it didn't flow right. So even if they're like, oh, well, it did actually happen, so it's not like we wrote it weirdly, it's like, well, you didn't really develop that whole thread of Maddie getting bullied for what she was wearing. It just kind of popped up sometimes, and then it went away again, and it wasn't really dealt with.
Yeah, and I feel like being bullied over, like, something you're wearing is such, like, a common thing that comes about in movies, but also just, like, in life. And I don't know, I feel like there are better ways that they could have just, like, shown that and shown how it, like, affected her, because they could have talked, I don't know, it felt like everything, it felt, you know when you watch, like, a Disney Channel show, right, and you can tell it was written by, like, grown adults about, like, teenagers, and the insults are, like, really dumb and, like, just sound fake. That's kind of how it felt. It just, I mean, I know they were kids, but, like, it was, I don't know, it was a little, it just, I guess it just comes down to it could have been written a little bit smoother, I guess. Cause, like, I don't know, it just all felt like it felt similar to, like, that scene in Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but, like, worse. You know?
You never want to be called something like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but worse. Just, that's just right to the heart. criticism. Ouch.
Okay, are you claiming that Shark Boy and Lava Girl is not a pure masterpiece?
No, I'm saying that because it's so good, but then being like, you think you're gonna be like compared to this masterpiece, but then it's like, oh, but it's worse. Just ouch, you know. It's rough to do that to a person, you know, Eva.
Yeah. But something that I did kind of notice about this movie, that you like to talk about, is the music in the movie. What did you think of the soundtrack, Jenna?
This is really embarrassing because I actually have no outstanding thoughts about the soundtrack of this movie.
Oh.
Wait, but what were your
really
thoughts? We could trade places.
Bad,
what were yours?
Oh. Well, most of my thoughts came from the fact that, like, at the beginning they did one of those, like, montages when the baby was born. They're like, oh, hi, baby. Ah, music, music, la, la, la. You know, it was one of those things, everything was happy, and I was like, bit much. Bit much. It was a very cliche moment. But, like, I get that they were trying to do. They were like, oh, look how happy they are, and then let's cut it out, you know? But, yeah, they put music there. I didn't really pay much attention to anywhere else of the music, but I did notice that bit of music, and I was like, it's just,
Yeah,
it's an incredible... Yeah.
I cannot remember, like, a single piece of music that was in this movie. So maybe that describes what the movie was like what the music was like in this movie. But
well, they used Hosier.
Oh, they did. Okay, yeah, I do remember that. That was good.
That was the montage. I like the song, not the montage.
Yeah, no, I liked the song too. I was like, oh, this song is nice. But, like, to talk about that beginning again, I think the intro went on for way too long. Like, including, like, like, literally everything that had to do with, like, the funeral and the wake went on for far too long for me. I'm sorry. They needed to get to the point.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with the length. But, like, I feel like if it went longer, I would have had a problem with the length, so I guess I'll agree with you.
Like, it could have been worse.
They definitely...
But I feel like they could have picked up the pace a little bit, and I think it would have been okay to do that.
Yeah, they definitely could have done that. I feel like... I don't know, there's just, like... They're trying to introduce... They were trying to get us to think that Matt and Liz were like the OTP and like, oh, they're such a cute couple. Oh my gosh, I love Liz, and then kill Liz off so that we'd be sad about it. Because, like, if you just immediately kill Liz off, then you don't feel sad about Liz dying. Mm-hmm. So I guess they were trying to, like, introduce her a little bit so that we would get attached, but, like, there wasn't enough time to do that, and so they ended up spending an awkward amount of time doing that. So I didn't really care about her, but I mean, I do see what they were going for, and the scene in the hospital was pretty powerful, so I'll give it to them. I like that scene. Well, I didn't like it, but, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying what was in it was bad. I just think the length of it took away from the emotional meaning, because, like, we already know what happens if you know what the movie is about. So I feel like they could have focused on other things, like you said, like actually making Liz more of a character than an idea. Because like, even though they try to do some of the development of, like, their relationship with, like, them being at, like, the doctor's visit and then them in the hospital with Maddie, but even then, like, showing us the person, like, right before they die in the place they're going to die doesn't do that much for us. Like, if they had done more of, like, if they had saved the montage for their actual, like, relationship leading up to them being in the hospital to give birth, I feel like that would have worked better.
I think I would have preferred if they, like, sprinkled more flashbacks throughout, because, like, they started it with this, like, sprinkling of flashbacks, and I feel like they could have made Liz more of a character that way and sort of showed more of, like, more of their connection, and then like maybe more things. Like he would like be doing something with Maddie, and then like, oh, Maddie reminds me of her mother or something, and then he'll have like a flashback. I don't know, because they used flashbacks for like other things. But I feel like we could have had more Liz flashbacks. I don't know. I don't know why I want more of Liz. I just do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded making her more of a character because she had such a huge presence in all of the characters' like minds and emotions that like it, when they would be grieving her, it rang a little hollow because of course I feel for them and of course I feel horrible that she died, but at the same time, like I, the audience, did not really know this person, so it's hard for me to like feel grief that this character died because I didn't know her. It's horrible that it happened, but okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying, and I totally agree. I feel like it could have definitely benefited from a little bit more of Liz, a little bit more understanding of her as a character and like her significance to everybody. That might have helped. That might have also helped develop Matt too. Because I mean Matt, I mean we got a lot from him, but like we didn't get much of his past. We got some random like tidbits like, oh, my dad sucks, but that's basically all that they kind of told us about his past. And I feel like we could have gotten more about him through flashbacks about Liz.
Yeah, like I mean I don't like it really wouldn't have hurt to see Liz a little more.
And another thing that could have been cool, since they like went from infant to like toddler, it would have been cool if like at the end of the movie, if they wanted to go later on in Maddie's life, like they did keep alluding to college or whatever. It would have been cool if like it ended at like a flash forward maybe,
Yeah.
to like show us that Maddie turned out okay. Be like, hey, look, Maddie's going to college. But also, I don't know how old Maddie is right now, like the real world Maddie. So maybe she's not even in college yet.
Oh yeah, that is true.
But I don't know. I feel like that could have been an okay creative liberty to take. To be like, oh yeah, she goes to college or something. I don't know. And then I feel like it would have been cute because it could have like shown her going off to college. She could be like a grown woman. She could be wearing the necklace and everything. And then Matt could be like, "Oh, that's my girl. That's my child." I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the movie is fine without any of this, but I feel like it could have been made a lot better.
Yeah, no, I think just like as a movie, it's fine. Like I feel like that's like, I don't know. It's like a pretty good kind of movie. Like if I were to just give it a generic adjective, pretty good would be a pretty good adjective to use. I wasn't like blown away, but I wasn't bored. I there were moments that I thought were really funny. There were moments I thought were cute. There were moments I thought were emotional, which I feel like it had a good balance. Cause like we all know how I feel about movies that don't have a balance. It bothers me a lot. Like I despise movies that don't have a balance of like vibes. And this had a balance, so that was good. And I mean, I did enjoy it. I feel like I would recommend this to people if you like that kind of like feel good family type movie. It's not like the most epically exciting movie. It's not the most funny movie. It's not the most depressing movie. It's just like it's like a Goldilocks kind of movie. So if you want just something that's like a little bit better than average, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that analogy of Goldilocks. And another thing, I knew Kevin Hart was in this movie, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a comedy or not. So I was a little relieved that it had a more somber tone with some comedic elements in it. And the comedy didn't always work for me, but it also wasn't like atrocious by any means. Because again, it had a balance of, hey, look, we actually have this emotional core, and that's what we're going to follow, but we are going to find some humor along the way. And I feel like that was a better approach than we are purely trying to be as funny as possible in this movie, and we'll sprinkle in some emotion as an afterthought, because that, like, never works for me. I cannot deal with, like, just straight comedy movies because they're almost never funny.
Literally. What was that one that tried to do something like that? That was Thunder Force?
Oh yeah, that was Thunder Force.
Or like also Hubie Halloween, that was a time.
Yikes.
But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. I feel like also something that this movie did well was like a lot of the interactions between the characters felt like something that like real people would actually say, and like ways that some of them would really interact. Like, I don't know, there's this interaction between Matt and what she ended up being called Swan, right?
Yeah, they ended up calling her Swan, but her real name was like Liz or Lizzie.
Was her last name Swanson or something? Like,
oh, maybe that's what that was.
Let me see what her character name is, because I'm just curious now. If she's a Swanson. Her name is just Swan on Google.
What? Google.
So yeah, I don't know why her name was Swan. But they called her Swan. But like there's like some interactions between her and Matt that they seem to have like genuine chemistry. Some of the things that they said felt like natural. Of course there were moments when things that the characters said did not quite feel natural, but I feel like it had a pretty high success rate in terms of feeling natural.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and in Wikipedia it says that her name is Lizzie Swan.
Oh. And that's her last name, or is that just saying it as her nickname?
There's no like dash or anything. So it looks like a first and last name, but who knows? It's also Wikipedia.
Well, let's hope that that's her last name, because that's what I was assuming. I don't know, Swan was kind of random. I was like, are they trying to do some symbolism, because, like, ducks or whatever? But, like, no, I would have liked them to address that a little bit, because they went from calling her Hank to calling her Swan. Just, like, instantaneously. Like, maybe if they mentioned her last name at, like, one point in time in the movie, it would have made more sense. I don't know, but that's really nitpicky of me.
Yeah, I accidentally threw my earbud, but I agree with you.
I was like, what's that noise going on Genocide?
Nope, I accidentally ripped my earbud out of my ear because I am, 39 episodes strong, and I am just still so amazing at this.
Oh my gosh, you said 39 like exactly at minute 39 of this recording.
That's a little weird.
Wow, that was crazy, Jenna. It's like you have like superpowers.
I know, I should just retire from this now. You can find someone else to fill my spot, April.
No! No, if anybody's leaving, it's me for game theory, or film theory, sorry. That's my one condition of leaving, is if Matt Pat says that he wants me more.
Well, that's a relief. We're stuck with each other. Until Matt Pat finally notices you.
Yeah. Until Matt Pat notices me. Yeah, we're just gonna be chilling. Oh my gosh, yesterday we had this interaction that's gonna be in the as of filming this right now, it's Friday. Well, not filming, recording, because I'm gonna be away next Wednesday. But so yesterday, as of today, so Thursday, I was at Six Flags and I was vlogging in public because I guess I'm a vlogger now or something. And this group of people were like, "Oh my gosh, can I be in your vlog?" And I was like, "Okay." And then they were like, "Wait, are you famous?" I was like, "No." They're like, "How many subscribers do you have?" I was like, 34. They're like, "Wow, you gotta keep grinding." But like, it was funny because it kind of looked like they were like secretly hoping that I was gonna say, "Oh yes, I have like 2 million followers on YouTube."
Yeah, you're vlogging like Pliny.
Pliny the vlogger. That's still my prized possession. It's not a possession, it's a creation. What am I saying? It's magnum opus.
Yeah, no one wants to see my crocodile video.
Well, nobody wants to compare it to Pliny the Vlogger. Nobody wants to follow that amazing act.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're off topic. What else do we have to talk about this movie? Oh yes! Oscar. Did you recognize him?
That is Victor Zsasz from Gotham, right?
Yeah, he is.
I recognized someone. I was like, oh my god, wait a minute.
He was in something else too, isn't he? Because I watched an episode of Gotham last night with my dad, and it was a good episode.
I want to rewatch.
Oh yeah, he was 4. I'm on season 4 right now.
Oh, it's the best.
He's in
one.
Bill and Ted Face the Music. I saw that in the drive-in when it came out. I was like, oh, I recognize him.
Yeah, I think I only know him from Gotham.
Yeah. I don't know if I recognized anybody else in this movie. I don't think I did. Wait! What? What? Okay, wait. I didn't think I recognized this woman. Do I actually recognize this woman?
Who?
Oh my gosh! Okay, Marion was in, Captain America Civil War.
Wait, who was she? Because she did look familiar.
Oh, I knew she was familiar. But I wasn't sure where from.
Oh wait, was she the mom who was grieving her son that died?
Yeah, she was the angry mom.
That's why she looked familiar.
Why is Kevin Feige listed in the cast of Civil War? Literally just everybody is listed in the cast of Civil War.
Was he like an extra?
No, but I stand Kevin Feige. Why is Josh Peck listed in the cast of Civil War? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that was an adventure. Did I recognize anybody else in this cast? Do I recognize this woman? No, I absolutely do not recognize this woman. She is from a lot of animated films and stuff. But I feel like, I don't know. I knew that Marion felt kind of familiar, but I was like, I don't recognize her, I don't think.
Yeah, that would explain.
But I guess I did. Oh my gosh, that's just like how I feel all the time. It's weird. It's like I'll recognize somebody, but like not know what from, and then it turns out they're from something really random. Wait, what was this woman? What? Wait, now I'm confused. Why is she in the cast but she has no character name? So apparently, Swan was in Captain Marvel in some capacity. But I don't know what she was. Which is weird.
Wikipedia. Wikipedia.
No, but this happens a lot with like Supernatural, which I feel like I've mentioned before, but I feel like everybody's been on Supernatural. Which, if you're listening and you're a Supernatural fan, there's gonna be a prequel show coming out. It's the story of John and Mary Winchester. like before the events of the show, being produced by Jensen and Danielle Ackles. So if you're excited for that, I'm excited for that. And yeah, so you should definitely be excited for that.
There's
like watch it, enjoy it. It's pretty great.
There's gonna be a prequel.
Yes. Why'd you say it like that?
There's gonna be more Supernatural.
Yes, there is, and I'm gonna enjoy every second of it.
Oh my word! There's gonna be more.
Yes, there. You say that like you've watched it all.
I say it like I haven't watched any of it, and I'm just so mind-boggled by it.
While you're sitting here like, yeah, now I'm never gonna watch any of it because I can't commit to that.
No, I really can't. I'm sorry. 15 seasons? That's a bit excessive.
But like when you're watching it, it feels like 5 minutes.
It took me...
You just, once you're into Supernatural, you can't get out, and I would watch that show for like 38 seasons, I swear to God.
It took me a little over 3 months to watch 5 seasons of Gotham. It would take me a year to watch all of Supernatural.
I did like, I think I watched all of Supernatural in like a few months, maybe? But if I'm thinking about it, like actually, I've only actually watched it from beginning to end once because of, I haven't rewatched it since season 15 ended, which I should. It's summertime. It's time for me to rewatch it. No, wait. That's a different show. I rewatched Supernatural in November. Sorry. That was really weird. That was my inner monologue, confusing myself. But yeah, so...
Wait, so what's the prequel gonna be like? Unnatural? Like...
I think it's called The Winchesters.
Well, that's silly.
What do you mean that's silly?
It should be called, like, Pre-natural.
Pre-natural?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
You're right. I don't have to watch it, and I won't.
What? Wait. Oh my gosh, I just saw an article that I need to read. Anyway, oh my god, no. Okay, anyways.
Wait. You can't leave us at that cliffhanger and not explain what the article was.
It says that, they didn't tell, Jared Padalecki about it. And he found out about it on Twitter, and now he's sad. Oh my gosh. It's his quote, "This is the first I've heard about it. I'm gutted," because he hasn't had any. Oh my god! Okay, I need to go like cry or something, because this podcast episode took a turn. Thank you so much for listening this far. You can listen on other platforms, unless you're on other platforms. Whatever platform you're on, subscribe or follow or whatever, like and comment and share and all that good stuff. If you want to subscribe to our YouTube, if you're not on YouTube already, we have other content that comes out weekly. And also right now I'm on a little vlogging adventure, so that's fun. And then yeah, so I hope you enjoy. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok too. That's really fun. And it means a lot when you do so. So thank you so much. Jenna, have you anything to add?
You know, it really does take a village. Or in this case, it takes your weird boss and your somewhat complacent coworkers, your friends who just like to play poker and can be kind of out of touch with reality, and your grieving in-laws that don't really like you because in-laws to raise a child.
Okay, bye!